when we talk about another gentleman, Danesh Noshirvan, because the two of them are very similar, including that they have scumbag lawyers who do their bidding. In Danesh's case, it's Nick Chiappetta. In Jeremy Hale's case, it is Randall Shockett. They also both like to be in court a lot. They are internet agitators. There are many similarities. Now you've got an article up. Let's play the 2-minute video, and then we're going to talk about the article. And that is Danesh. You look at it.
Was arrested recently after they boxed him in with their vehicles to arrest him, and he rammed his car up against their vehicles to try to escape. While he was trying to escape, they attempted to murder him when they shot him. One of those bullets ricocheted and hit a U.S. Marshal. Were these unmarked vehicles boxing him in and he was scared for his life the way agents don't identify themselves? Because if so, I understand why he'd want to escape. Or was it clearly ICE? Which, if so, he could be sent to like a Venezuelan prison. So I understand why he tried to escape. Maybe they did say they were federal agents, but there are people, so many people in the news that go around lying and saying that they're ICE. How do you know? Maybe you're being kidnapped. Who knows? Who really knows? And on the inverse, maybe they are ICE, and you're going to go to a foreign concentration camp. Let's talk about ICE agents just shooting at people over these like immigration laws. They shot him and they're charging him with assault. After the ICE agent tried to murder him, the bullet ricocheted and hit another federal agent. And you're going to say, hey, Danesh, don't encourage violence. Encourage violence? Where did the bullet come from? Who shot the bullet? Where did the bullet come from? Who was the violent one? After Trump's Nazi force boxed him in, I would never feel safe around ICE. I would never feel safe around ICE. I heard there was a guy who's a legal resident of the United States who got fined by ICE for not having his papers on him. What kind of Nazi shit is that? To anybody who cares about that ICE agent who was shot.
So this video highlights one difference between Danesh and Jeremy Hales. Danesh is very political. Hales, I don't see very much political content. He might be conservative, but Danesh goes into different areas. He definitely is a left wing, as you can tell, but almost all of his videos have a political part of it. Hales is more like my personal life. So that's a very big difference. All right, but he's making fun of ICE agents. He's making fun of them being shot. A lot of the stuff he said was accurate. They did fine a guy $130 because he didn't have his papers on him. The confrontations, there are a lot of confrontations. If I was of a different skin color and ICE was near the area, I'd be afraid too. But that has nothing to do with your article, so I don't know why you put that video up. Are you just trying to smear the guy?
No, this is what this is all part and parcel, because the case is made that he's committed federal crimes. And so if he's going in and he's getting these ICE agents and the U.S. Marshals and putting their lives in danger, putting their families' lives in danger by doxing them, we're adding to it. But this is about an affidavit that he filed last Friday. And the affidavit itself is larded with lies. The biggest lie of which is that Danesh and his relationship with Nick Chiappetta, his scumbag lawyer, basically he says in that affidavit that he's on a hourly fee pay go type situation. We have it, and he says that in paragraph 23 of the affidavit, the sworn affidavit, that Nick Chiappetta and him don't have a contingency agreement. We have previously filed documents from 2024, conversations from Danesh that says, yes, me and Nick have a contingency fee agreement. So they're lying to the court. And why this is important, Mike, is because we've covered it before. He was put on notice on August 12th of 2025 this year by Judge Steele. Any more bad faith in this case by Nick, the lawyer?
Wait. This will be fun. What is Judge Steele's first name?
Judge John Steele.
John Steele. Which president appointed this guy?
Your favorite president,
Bill Clinton, a Clinton appointee. All right, you stick with us, and you're gonna learn the appointees, and we're gonna really get you built up with knowing the federal judiciary. So Judge Steele in August issued a very scathing order and continue about how this relates to what's happening right now.
So if you see that right in front of us, see right there, the 277-304-60, right? He claims that he's owed or was paid $277,304.60 to date in his case with Danesh. That's how much he's into Danesh for. He's saying that he's gotten paid by the hour and he's not getting paid on a contingency. Now, that doesn't square with what was just said in this piece of paper that's there, the request for recommendation. Because in August, remember, he was found that he committed bad faith. He was in a deposition. He ran the deposition. He pulled a black civil rights lawyer, a low-class racist. But read what it says right there, that paragraph 38.
What do you, because GPS timesheets are extremely excessive, riddled with other issues, as addressed in paragraphs 15 to 29, and Noshirvan is a man of modest means, Noshirvan respectfully requests that this court reconsider its sanction award entirely. Noshirvan requests that the court deny defendant's motion to quantify fee award in its entirety, alternatively award a modest flat sanction of $5,000. And in no event should this court award more than 25 hours at the proposed reduced hourly rate above for a motion and half-day evidentiary hearing. Explain what does that mean?
So he's saying that the law firm, that because of all his bad faith, Danesh's antics and his harassment and everything else, this law firm had $100,000 in additional fees and motions and security and everything else, and they put in for it. The judge said, "Okay, put in for it on August 12th, and we'll pay it out. I just have to look at it."
Wait, now, hold on. I got a question for you. If he has billed $277,000 to Danesh, how is Danesh a person of modest means?
And that's the
you know
question
many
of the day,
people
Michael.
who are persons of modest means who can afford a legal bill of $277,000 and some change?
So either A, there's some dishonesty going on, or B, there's something predatory going on in the sense that Chiapetta is overbilling somebody who can never have a chance to pay. They're either lying in the first or lying in the second. If you go down a little further, we use one of our favorite lines from Princess Bride.
Do not think it means what you think it means. Hold on.
Got very good arms.
He didn't fall? Inconceivable. You keep using the word. I don't think it means what you think it means.
He keeps using modest, and I don't think it means what he thinks it means.
And that's the point. It's like, how do you get $300,000 into a client? First, he says Danesh says it's a contingency case. Okay, you can understand the case if it's a contingency. Danesh doesn't pay anything if he loses. But if it's not,
so later he said he's being paid by the hour.
In this document, yes, he says he's being paid by the hour. If you go down to the last
page,
look,
if he's being paid by the hour, then obviously Danesh is not a person of modest means.
That's right. But go down to the last paragraph, and that's what makes this and a lot of this stuff has been contradicted by Steele already in his August 12th order. But this is just one little iota here to look at, and it unravels. You pull the string and it unravels the whole thing. Paragraph 23, right there. Look at paragraph 23.
As a result of Camp, that's Joseph Camp, another person involved in this case, harassment and intimidation. This is another way that the two, Danesh and Hales, are similar. They both love to use these kinds of words. They have massive platforms, but everyone harasses and intimidates them. Directed at Robson Powers, Mr. Powers withdrew from my case. As a result of Mr. Powers' withdrawal, I hired Chiapetta trial lawyers and an increased hourly rate to defend him in our fee arrangement for 034 is not contingent. After application of my prior payment, my current contractual obligation currently provide is $277,304. Chiapetta trial lawyers increased rate create a difference of $132,000 based on the hours expended. This guy's going to spend so much money, whether he wins or loses, it doesn't matter, it sounds like. But I am very, very confused. Can you help me out here? How can he then say I'm a person of modest means and also say that I've been charged $277,000? And if I'm following correctly, if you take the difference between this and this, that difference is how much he's paid. How can someone who has paid $130,000 to his lawyer be of modest means?
It's either that or it's fraudulent right now. They're just doing that to gin up a creation of fees as damages. So either way, there's a problem. There's a level of dishonesty. And Judge Steele said, any more bad faith, I'm dismissing this case. I think we have it right here. We have bad faith that is enough to dismiss this case. If you go down a little bit further, the entire, and I break it down, the entire thing is, it lays it out for anybody that wants to read. It's a pretty long article and it details it in detail. But if you go down to some of the section headings, it shows that and this is the background of the story, But
Mhm.
this is, and it shows all the victims that he's had. This is the background of
And
Dinesh.
we
But when I
should
break
note,
down
for those who don't know Danesh, he is the Supreme Court doxer. He doxed the Supreme Court. And one mentally unstable person tried to kill, which one? Alito? Alito's my favorite.
Kavanaugh.
Kavanaugh. All right. Kavanaugh's all right, but Alito I like a lot. So I don't know if he saw Dinesh's thing. We can't for sure make the connection. However, Dinesh definitely doxed the U.S. Supreme Court. Go ahead.
So if you go down a little more, what he does is he tries to make this guy Joey Camp, who's a journalist, and he was actually an anti-Antifa journalist, and he was in Kenosha, he was in Denver, he was in all places where there was all these uprisings in 2020, 2021, and he would go into the crowds dressed with a mask on, and he would videotape the Antifa people, and then he would identify them, and he would put their faces up on the internet. And so Antifa has a warrant out, not a warrant, but Antifa has a bounty out, an international bounty out for Joey Camp. So he's in hiding in South America. But if you go down, I actually have a bit of a roadmap there. So roadmap for the feds, the falsehoods. So he comes in, and like you said about Jeremy Hales, they say they're harassed and intimidated and everything else. They ignore what the original context of what Danesh does is, the original doxing context. What Danesh does, and the court had said it, Sherry Polster Chappell, who was appointed by Barack Hussein Obama, she was the first judge on the 340 case, and she said, well, this guy is doxing for hire. He basically goes out there and he's like some type of vigilante, and that's his business model. And so he went out there and he doxed these people to begin with, Jennifer Couture and Dr. Ralph Garamone. But he's like
But how is that different from Joey Camp? Isn't Joey Camp doing the same thing?
Well, they're kind of doing potentially the same thing, but the way the Dinesh saying he's not the one, he's not the victim of harassment. He's the instigator. How do you throw the first punch? And how do you throw the first punch and then complain that you got knocked out?
I want to point this out. This is pretty important. I think there's one other important difference between the Danesh case and and Jeremy Hales, and that is in the Danesh case. It seems like a lot of the judges are what you call Article 3 judges, like John Steele, like this lady. In Hales, when he gets into federal court, he gets the magistrate, the flunky, in this case, this guy, Zach Bolitho, and he's getting second-rate judges, and that, I think, is helping him, whereas Dinesh is, a lot of his BS is not being allowed in. And I think that's an important difference, that if if was a fifth, we'd all be drunk, but if Hales had faced the full judges, the district judges, I think a lot of this stuff wouldn't have gotten as far as it did, in the way that Danesh is forced to go in front of the full judges for the most part. I think from time to time he does get a magistrate, but I think that's an important difference. Go ahead.
But this story breaks down that affidavit, and it gets very technical. So if you're interested in the case, read it. It gives a full background of the story.